All right, cool. So hello, Hori. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you very much for being our guest at ICO Grill. Let's start with, can you briefly explain what the EthicHub project is and why does the world need it?
Okay, thank you for inviting. EthicHub, I say it is a social net to connect borrowers that are unbanked farmers, small farmers around the globe that are excluded nowadays from global economy, with people, investors, wherever in the world. Through blockchain for sure. If it is not with blockchain, the relationship is difficult to be fair for both, and we try to build a fair relationship between them.
So can you go a bit deeper into how blockchain helps to create that fair relationship? How does it work?
I mean, this is based on smart contracts and crypto tokens or cryptocurrencies. And blockchain allows a real peer-to-peer transaction between you and these people. And this helps a lot in building the trust that is needed in a credit project. If I have to convince you to lend your money to Gerardo, I always call Gerardo the farmer because he's the first one I interview with. Everything is about building trust between you and Gerardo. And blockchain helps a lot because it allows this real peer-to-peer between you and him, and also because it is transparent, immutable, and so on. Right? And also, it reduces the cost massively. So at the end, he has to pay rational costs, and you can get a lot of money from this relationship.
Great. So you're talking about the use of local nodes. Can you share a bit what does that mean? What's the role of a local node? What do they do in the system?
Yeah, for sure. And this is the key part of our project. In every credit project, the key factor is the default rates. So in our platform, the default rates are controlled because we trust in local nodes that are persons locally that are based locally where the borrowers are. They know the borrowers, they select them, they help them to form a cooperative in order to ask for the loan. And in our platform, all the loans are cooperative loans. And that way also you can control better the default rate because the own borrowers, they will select between each other. I know I don't want this guy to be part of the cooperative because I know he will get drunk and at the end he won't pay the loan and I will have to pay for him. So that's the philosophy behind.
So the local node, they actually screen those borrowers. They screen the cooperative, or what exactly do they do? I'm still not clear on
that. He goes. I mean, he's somewhere in where we are starting in Mexico, in Chiapas. He's somebody who lives there, and he has a relationship. We have already selected 2 of these local nodes. So there are persons well recognized in this area. So when they arrive to these small communities far from the city, they know he's trustful, so they believe in what he's telling them. And he also, in the opposite way, can know who is trustful and who isn't. And again, he helps them to form the cooperative.
So they also help them with signing up for the platform and for applying for the loans and all.
Yeah, exactly. He make a bit as a digital bridge for them because this is not digital natives. They don't even have internet in their communities. And not only that, in our idea, in order to take somebody out of the circle of poverty, money is a key factor for sure. But you also have to make sure that the money is correctly used. If they spend the money to buy a TV, and it's very difficult that they can pay back because they don't increase their productivity and their incomes. So it's very important that this local node make sure that the money is going into the earth, into the farm, so the productivity increases. We also encourage them to diversify their crops, and also we will try to help them to sell their products better.
Mm. So in a way, they will be verifying how the funds are spent from the borrowers and make sure that they go where it's needed.
Mhm.
Okay, very cool. So let's talk a bit about interest rates and how much will the borrowers pay to use that service, and what kind of fees do you have in the platform? How are you going to sustain?
Yeah. The loans have at the beginning 15%, 1.5 interest rates for investors. This will be reduced with the time because investors will prefer to finance farmers who have been paying for 3 years, for example, no? So they have better reputation because they have already paid 3 loans or whatever. So they will have to pay less interest in the future, because the interest will be something that is like a bet, an auction of interest for the investors.
So the investors will determine their own interest rate in a way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And regarding the fees, basically there are 2 fees and one not fee, but I don't know how to call it, a percentage that goes for a warranty found smart contract. So 3% of the requested amount, instead of going to the borrowers, will go to a warranty found smart contract. This because we have the experience, and we have benchmarked this rate, that 3% of the loans will be defaulted, or less than 3% of the loans will be defaulted. So this way we can cover the default rate, and this percentage will evolve with the real default rate in the platform. And part of the funds in the ICO and everything will go to capitalize this warranty fund smart contract.
Okay.
Then, and the 2 fees are the 4% for the local node. As I told you, the person who selects the project, he is incentivized to do his work properly. So he gets 4% of the loan only in the way back of the money. I mean, if the loan is repaid on time and in the amount correct, the smart contract will give 4% for the local node.
Okay.
And the same for lending behind EthicHub. Sorry, are you hearing me well?
Yes, it froze for a second,
Yeah,
but now
okay.
it's back.
Seems to be that it is solved. So for lending debt, also we think we can do it 3%. With 3%, we think we can manage to keep the development of the company, of the platform, and promote the project. Basically, are the 2 main issues. Also, lawyers, also offices and staff, right? General costs. And this is with no aim for profit. This 3% with will be also adapting to the real cost in the future, because we don't want to profit from fees. Our profit is that we keep a percentage of the tokens. So we have, we think we are better aligned with investors if our only profit is a percentage of the tokens, and this way also we can be more competitive because there are no commissions for profit, right?
Compared to other solutions that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you listed quite a few different fees. So what would be the total amount, that the total cost of the loan for the people?
So basically 15 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 is 25.
25%?
For annual loan, we will have 3 months to 12 months mostly at the beginning. Maybe in the future we go farther than that to 24 or 36 months. All of the loans are bullet loans, means that they only pay once when they sell their crop. And also, for sure, there is another cost, but this is not in the system, it's behind the system, that is the exchange. So because farmers will receive in their nominee one representative, he receives the full amount for all of the community, and this person has to open a bank account, and into exchange he convert into fiat, local fiat, and send the money to the bank account and take the money out of the bank, and vice versa. So this has a cost, and we don't know. We think nowadays it can be done with 2%, 1% in the way, and 2%, and another 1% in the way back.
So that may seem as a lot, close to 30% interest.
Yeah.
But can you explain how is this compared to what they are?
Yeah, the 27 or something sounds crazy for a European person or Japanese person or American person or North American person, but these persons I have been interviewing, you can see the videos, they are paying nowadays from 5 up to 20% monthly interest rates. That's from 60 up to 200 interest rates annually. And even though they are able to pay because they have a very profitable activity.
Wow. So if they are unbanked, how do they manage to get those high interest rate loans right now? And also, how are they going to be able to open a bank account later on to exchange the money collected from EthicHub into Fire?
I mean, first, they only has access to local cash loans. So somebody in the area with a bit of money lend them in cash.
Okay.
And this is their access to credit, right? The only access to credit. Also, and they don't have a bank account, most of them, because it has some cost. If you are only for you, it is the money. The cost is more or less significant, and also since the city is far, for them has a cost to go to the city and open a bank account. So at the end, it's like they don't have savings enough to justify opening a bank account. But if they have to open for this reason, they will, and especially if it is only one of the community, they nominate only one person to go to the city and open the bank account. So and that's the way it is much cheaper, and of course this person has to spend a couple of days for the community going to the city and going back, and again when the loan will be repaid.
Right. So can you speak a bit about the EthicHub token and what is its purpose and
Sorry, there's a lot of noise around. I'm at a hotel in Geneva now that we had a meetup here yesterday. Our token is just the way to travel the money around the globe. The loans are denominated in the local currency of the borrower, but lenders have to buy our token to lend them. And the borrowers have to buy back our tokens to pay back to the lenders. And basically, that's the main function of the token. For sure, there are many other small functions that increase the value of having an own token.
Can you speak a little bit about those other functions?
For example, I mean, we always say, if you don't have your own token, you are much worse prepared in order to switch from blockchain, for example. You can. We still don't know which blockchain we will start on. For now, we are in Ethereum, but maybe we will be in RSK. I don't know. And adopt another technologies that can come in the future, and for the governance issues, and also for how do you call the I forgot also for legal use issues also will be simplifies the things, because this is like more an closed environment. At the end, Ethereum or Bitcoin will be or are recognized nowadays as currencies. Our token won't be recognized as a currency for a long time. Also, it makes the project more independent and more how do you say resistant to interferences from the market, right? From outside of our market. I mean, if Ethereum is having a huge issue of security, okay, if we have our own token, we switch, as I told you before, to another blockchain or whatever. So the project is more safe if you work with your own token in many ways. But for sure, is the point, the biggest point with our project is the functionality of the token. But I think there are many lending projects, and I think for example, Ethlend is switching from another functionality where it was only basically for pay the fees in the platform to be also the mean of payment in the platform. So yeah, it looks like it is the better kind of token for our kind of projects.
So let's talk a little bit about the token sale, and when do you plan to start that, and how many tokens will be issued, and how did you determine that number?
I mean, we put 100 millions because it's more or less a standard thing, right? Most of the token sales put that number. You can put 29 million, but I think it's like more easy for everybody if you put a close number and use more or less the same number everybody is using, that is 100 million. And these 100 millions will be 20% for the team and the advisors. 20% will be kept in a reserve fund. These tokens will be used for whatever is needed, for example, for market making, for example, for recapitalizing the guarantee fund if there is a climatologic super big event or whatever that increases the default rate out of the normal curve or whatever, or for making partnerships or whatever is needed. And the remaining 60% will be sold. But in this, we are being a bit different way from the remaining ICOs. This will be sold in 4 stages. One was the pre-sale, these people doesn't have still their tokens. And then will be 3 ICOs or token sales, or however you want to call them. Why this way? Because this way we can ask only for the amount we need for the next coming 12 to 24 months. That way we can ask for less money at the beginning, demonstrate that we make a good use of the money and the project is viable, and that way in the future we can get much more money with the second and the third token sale.
So you're saying that you have 100 millions of the EthicHub tokens, but what would be the initial pricing of that in let's say US dollars?
Nowadays it is fixed at 0.64 dollars.
Okay.
But before ICO, we will make a survey as we made in pre-sale with the community if they think is fair valuation and everything.
So under what jurisdiction does the EthicHub fall? Where are you registered, and what kind of legal and regulatory standards are you following?
Yeah, that's an important thing because this is like totally new, and you never know where is better to set up the company, right? So nowadays in Spain it is possible to make an ICO, and our Spanish lawyer are saying you can do it in Spain, and since you started in Spain, it will be the most logical thing to do. But for example, startup tokens introduced as some lawyers from Gibraltar, that is nowadays one of the most evolved legal frameworks for ICOs. And for sure they say, no, much better here, that there is already a good regulation, you know what you. So we are just in that moment that we have to decide if we make it. Basically, we are deciding from Spain into Gibraltar, because from the crypto-friendly, if you go to a crypto-friendly legal framework, you should go basically Switzerland, Estonia, Malta, Gibraltar, right? But Gibraltar is very convenient for us since we have our head offices in Spain, and also I think is the most evolved one. I mean, if you take everything in account, is the most evolved jurisdiction.
And then what is the total market that you're addressing, the total market size of those unbanked farmers? And are you only focusing on Mexico, or are you planning for this to get global at some point?
Yeah, for sure. I always say this is a huge market. Some people say, no, you are focusing in a niche market. No, there are 2 billion unbanked people. So there is very few markets bigger than this. This is over 1 trillion credit potential market. And for sure, we have the aim to become someday global, international, and everything. But we will start with coffee in Mexico, because this is what we better know. I have been involved into coffee. I have run a coffee farm in Mexico. My partners have been the manager of the bigger coffee buyer in the area. So we know about that a lot. But for sure, we want to prove with coffee in Mexico, but we will scale to other crops and other countries with the future. And since this is like a huge potential project, that's why we want to make 3 ICOs, starting small to demonstrate it is viable and that this works. And that with the second and the third ICO, the money will go to expand internationally, right? And that way we can have, we can maybe ask for hundreds, even thousands of millions, because if you want to become a real global company, you will need hundreds of millions. It's 20 or 40 million is not enough.
So do you have any milestones in place already? And how does your roadmap look?
Our roadmap nowadays is basically we have to deliver our platform. I mean, the first beta version or alpha version. I don't know if it is alpha or beta what, but it will be on June. We will launch on June.
What kind of functionality it will have, this first version?
Most of the, I mean, will be fully functional. Mm-hmm. Of course, will not have, for example, the warranty fund functionality or the secondary market functionality or the automatic investment functionality. I mean, all of this is like extra functionalities, but the core will be fully functional.
So can you speak a little bit about the automatic investment functionality? What is that?
I mean, basically, we want to build a relationship between you and Gerardo. So you choose, I want to lend my money to Gerardo, but someday maybe you say, okay, I don't have time to start to continue looking at all the projects that come into the platform. So I better choose to put, I don't know, 100 euros in each project that comes into the platform until I run out of money, right? And so it is automatic, or only coffee and cocoa, or only Mexico, Guatemala, and Colombia, or whatever. No, so to facilitate investors, and especially big investors, we expect funds in the future when we have demonstrated that this works, that also participate here, and for them is like they cannot have somebody all the day looking at the platform and to select which project they have to invest. They have to put a bot to do that, right?
So that will also be relative to the borrower's credit score and reputation.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. For sure.
So what are some risks and challenges that potentially you'll be facing?
Mm-hmm. The most obvious one is the default rate, for sure. Mm-hmm. This I already told you how we are going to control it. The second most important risk is the exchange rate risk. I mean, if you are based in Europe, you are thinking on euros and you are lending Mexican pesos through ethics. So we are now working with one of our partners that is BitBCN. This is a university for a blockchain project in Barcelona, and with their students, they are working on helping us to deliver a decentralized insurance policy for the exchange risk. So basically the idea is that that will be two kinds of investors in our platform. You, that you want to lend your money to the farmers, and some others that are more into exchange and more professional investors that want to speculate with this exchange. So these persons can stake our token and give you insurance, taking a commission. So you sacrifice part of your interest to pay the insurance, and these persons, if you lose value because the peso goes down, he loses part of their ethics stake to compensate you. But if the peso goes up or is stable, he gets a fee. And if the peso goes up, he gets the fee plus the revaluation of the peso.
Nice. So this it's a whole new segment of the platform for traders.
Yeah. Also, this is second. I mean, second. Not in the first version for sure.
Yeah. So what other kind of partnerships do you currently have or you're seeking?
For now, we only have partners with lawyers and universities, both for helping us in the development and for helping us into the measurement of the impact of the project. And also we have a partnership with a startup token that is a hyper accelerator that has helped us a lot to understand how this ICO ecosystem works, and has connected us with many important people in the system, and they have taken us into the Asia tour with RSK to introduce our project over thousands of people, and now we are traveling with them through Europe also to make a Euro tour with Startup Token. Now we are in Geneva, and tomorrow we will be in Paris.
Very nice.
And we will need many kinds of partnerships. I just to remember some, for example, wallet partner, for example, funds that or automated funds. This bot that I was telling you, maybe you can do it with Swissborg or Napoleon X or some other projects that have automatic investment funds to work in our platform, for example, right, in the future. And we can make partnerships with the impact measurement also. We can make partnerships with exchanges, for sure. That's a typical one. We can make partnerships for the market making. There are companies that make market making, and this, for me, is a very important service for a token to have liquidity enough.
Yeah.
I don't know, many. I'm pretty sure you can think of many partnerships that can fit and add value to our project.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if anyone from the audience has something in mind, we will have your contact information so they can reach out. Well, as we are coming to a close, would you like to make a short pitch and just tell people why they should support you?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I think technology is not good or bad by its own. It's the use that humans make of technology that will deliver a good, a positive or negative impact of this technology, right? And sometimes in this ecosystem of ICOs, people are only looking at this is very profitable project. Of course, we think we will be a very profitable project, but it is not only that. This is about building a better world. So I encourage you to also take this into account, not only to invest in our project, but always. For sure. Thank you very much.